Hi, I'm Chiara Ocampo and welcome to the Orange Share. This is where I sit down with the country's top thought leaders and influencers. They'll be sitting on this Orange Share where I'll be unpacking their stories that will hopefully influence you, inspire you, and inform you. Now, I'm excited for you to meet my next guest. Our guest today is the institutional banking head, the chief digital officer, and the chief experience officer of Union Bank of the Philippines. Let's all welcome to the Orange Share, Miss Anna Aboitiz-Delgado.
Hi.
Hi, Anna. Welcome to the Orange
Thank
Share.
you. Nice to be here today.
We're very excited. Hi, Anna. Thanks again for being with us at the Orange Share. We're so excited.
Thanks for having me here.
So just to break the ice, it's very light and also would give people a peek of who you are before all the banking and the financial services part of you. You actually finished art history and painting in college.
That's right.
If you could paint a picture of your life right now, what would you paint?
So I would probably paint a woman with multiple arms doing multiple things at the same time. And I've actually seen a painting that I was like, oh, that's me. But the woman in the picture didn't look too happy. So I think that's what I would change. Yeah, because I mean, while I wear many hats, I do feel fulfilled at this stage in my life and positive about it all. So I still do have creative outlet, just not painting per se on a canvas.
I understand. At least what I heard was you initially planned to pursue the arts full time in your career. But can you also get a peek of why you pursued that in the first place?
Yeah, so I entered college in the business school and I took my first accounting class and said, this is really not for me. And at the same time, because it was a liberal arts college, I was taking an art class and I really enjoyed it. And I had enjoyed the arts even prior to college. And so I said, this is maybe the one time in my life I can dedicate studies to the arts. And I had a very supportive mom. So she said, you like it, you're good at it, go and do it. And my dad also supported the decision to move. So it was kind of following a passion. Of course, at that time, I felt like I had to find a job in my line of study.
Yeah.
So I did work in an art gallery in San Francisco for a year, and that's when I discovered the study of art didn't translate into the working environment. It was so boring for me sitting in a gallery waiting for people to come and buy. Then, coupled with the fact that I had to come home because I didn't have a visa to stay anymore, I said, well, maybe I need to look for alternatives. And that's when I started considering other career
Options.
paths. Yeah.
Speaking of other career paths, you're also an Aboitiz, which is part of a very well-known conglomerate in the Philippines. But I also saw in one article that you're not really forced to be in the family business.
That's right.
So speaking about other options, can you tell us the story behind the moment when you chose to be part of the family business?
Sure. So when I came home and was looking for options of where to work, I actually did a few internships I did one in McCann Erickson, an advertising agency. And then I said, maybe try hospitality. So I did an internship in the Peninsula Hotel as well. And then my dad said, well, why don't you, go talk to Edwin in the bank. He said, Edwin's a marketing person. Go talk to him. And so when I spoke to Edwin, actually my first conversation with him was really only about art because he's a well-known collector. And so he said, there are opportunities in product management. And I thought, okay, well, if I'm going to consider and try something outside of the arts, at least product and marketing has a creative aspect to it. So some link to what I knew. And the opportunity was in UnionBank as a product manager. So I said, I have nothing to lose. Try that. And kind of the rest is history.
The Aboitiz, at least name and family, also first took its roots, or at least until now, in Cebu. I'm curious if you ever lived there before.
Absolutely. So I grew up in Cebu. I was born in Manila, but I think when I was a few weeks old, because my parents were based in Cebu, we moved to Cebu.
Mhm.
And I went to school there. I lived there till I was about 16.
Mm.
And I finished my last 2 years of high school abroad and then did university abroad. But yeah, it's really happy I grew up in Cebu because it was really healthy childhood. We had the beach every weekend. It was 20
Fresh
minutes
air.
away, fresh air. Just living in a more provincial life, I think, has shaped a lot of who I am also today.
So as a Cebuana, is the Cebu lechon the best in the Philippines?
Don't need to ask the question. Absolutely, that's a given.
All right. Again, the Aboitiz family has been in business for over a century. Anything that you learned from the past generations?
Oh, a lot.
Since you're actually the fifth part of the fifth generation. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot. And I think that's part of what's enabled us to successfully transition across generations,
Mhm.
right? There are, I would say, founding values and principles that have been passed down,
Mhm.
and so that I've learned. I think one of them, and the one that is most important, is understanding that keeping your reputation intact is really important. So that started with my great grandfather, who founded the business alongside with his brothers. And there was a time in our company's history where during the wars where we went bankrupt.
Mhm.
And my great grandfather was in Spain at the time, in an early retirement phase, and he was asked to come home to help out. And he had an option then to either not honor the loans that he had and just make the company fold, or pursue what he felt was important, which is to make sure that you keep your name and reputation intact for future generations. And so, no matter how hard it was, he honored all of the commitments he had, loans, etc. He helped to rebuild the business to be able to pay off those loans.
Yeah.
And that's been a long-standing principle for us, that we have to make sure that we keep our name intact, reputation intact, honoring commitments. And that's actually where I think integrity as a value of ours across the company was also born. So that's, I would say, one of the more important ones. Another one would be meritocracy, making sure that everyone that's in the company rises to their full potential on their own ability, and that includes family. So family is not in the business because they're family. There's no birthright. You've got to work from the bottom up to your full potential, wherever that might be.
No.
Yeah.
So it's keeping your reputation intact and meritocracy. Nice. And since you're part of the fifth generation, I'm curious, what's the biggest challenge, especially managing this day and age and innovating in this day and age?
Yeah, so I think it's how do we not just stay relevant in the digital age that we're emerging into, but how do we thrive? In the bank, we started on our own digital transformation, right? The banking group. But now, from a whole conglomerate family business standpoint, it's how do we make the conglomerate relevant by transforming to a techglomerate, and that's a big challenge for all of us.
As a woman, also not just in the boardroom but also in the banking services financial industry, a message for all the next female leaders in our industry.
This is always a tricky question for me because I never view myself through the lens of my gender. I look at myself, and I think this is always my advice to young women. Understand your strengths, your aspirations, your dreams, and pursue them regardless of what society might think and the biases that society might have, right? So you have the capacity to write your own story, and it's up to you if you want to include that noise and allow it to affect your route, right? So I've always looked at my own career that way, and take charge of your own journey. You have the capacity to do so, and you make choices based on the different inputs you allow. So it's understanding you have control over what you allow into your mind and into driving your own life.
For someone who has reached a certain level of success already, who has experienced a lot, do you have anything else that you have yet to take off your bucket list?
Lots. I mean, on the work side, I think I've achieved a lot of my personal goals, but definitely not lived out my full purpose or vision. So I think that's a journey. In terms of bucket lists per se, lots of places I want to travel to. In terms of we have all kinds of lists, right? Lists of things I need to improve.
Yeah.
So I think being a parent is one of the hardest
Roles.
I play. So that's always a work in progress. So lots of areas there to improve as well.
Now I'm going into the personal side of you. What's the best thing about being a mom to, I believe, 2 children?
Two, yeah, I have a daughter and a son. The best thing is hugs, cuddles. No, that is one of the best things for me. But I think that one of the more rewarding is to see your kids grow into their own. And so, one of the harder things as a parent is to see children struggle. But one of the best things is when you see them emerge from that struggle stronger, more resilient. So it's really rewarding to see them become their own people.
person. Yeah. What's one thing that you love doing with them, or what's your favorite thing to do to unwind with the family?
Well, my personal thing to unwind is I like to run. So I try to jog, and it's more jogging than running, really. A few days a week. And my daughter is now interested in it, so I love running with her. And my son will bike behind us. So yeah, that's what we do during the week. On the weekends, it's really just hanging out with the family. My daughter's also interested in art, so doing crafts with her is something I love to do.
We always ask this question to our guests. What's one thing people will be surprised to know about you?
I think, that I was on the varsity volleyball team at one point in my life.
What was your position?
In the back receiving, I guess because I couldn't spike it too small, right? So I think that's
Like
why it's
libero.
surprising. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Because I'm short and I was on the varsity volleyball team. So I think that's one thing that surprises. Other than that, I'm pretty open book in general. So I don't know what surprises you about me. I don't know.
Plays volleyball. Nice.
Ayun.
Okay. We grabbed a couple of photos online, which you just need to share the story about.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. The first photo, very cute.
Oh, that's me and my daughter.
In matching
Matching
outfits.
shirts. Yeah, I got those shirts in a bazaar. And
for mom and daughter.
yes, they had a mom and daughter set. And I had just given birth. I was still on maternity leave. I had just given birth to my son, and that's in our old house. And we have a lot of pictures in front of that door. Parang that door became a frame for our life. So there. Yeah, but until now, she still enjoys matching actually. So I'll cherish those days because soon she won't want to.
All right, very cute. Next photo is this one.
Oh, that's me and my husband at the beach before we got married. That I think we were engaged already then, but we weren't married. I don't remember what that helicopter.
Oh yeah, it's like.
Yeah, I probably just used it as an excuse to hug him. But,
yeah. Next photo is this one.
So that's a picture with my cousins and my brothers.
Cousins and brothers.
So these two are my brothers. That's the youngest. He's the one after me. And then these two are cousins. This was in the Aboitiz Future Leaders Business Summit, which the group used to host to bring young leaders, young students, to invite them to listen to topics about leadership and also introduce them to AEV and AEV companies. So, and we used to invite the press, and so that's a Rappler photo. Yeah.
Okay, and last photo is this photo.
Oh, that's the Mancom of UnionBank. This was taken late last year, early this year, January, for the cover of a magazine. It shows all of us in our element. I love working with them. So I'm grateful that I get to work with this group of people.
Yeah, that's it for behind the photo. Very easy. Now we move on to Rapid 7, where we ask our guest, Anna, 7 rapid-fire questions, wherein you should answer in under 1 minute.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Sure.
Timer ready? Favorite song to dance to?
Don't Stop Me Now.
Mm.
Queen.
If you could eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
One, but I would say sushi.
Oh, sushi.
Yeah.
Your pet peeve?
Bad grammar.
Mm.
Yeah.
Favorite Bisaya expression?
Samu ka, oy.
What does it mean?
Like you're so annoying.
Smartest person you know?
Tito Ortiz. Smart and wise,
Mhm.
I would say.
One word to describe being a mom to Juan and Elena.
Fulfilling.
And lastly, one word to describe the legacy of Anna.
Hopefully meaningful. I hope people will say that I've had a meaningful contribution to their life, and hopefully have helped them on their journey to become the best version of themselves.
Well, there you go. That's Rapid 7. But before we end the episode, just to cap it all off, any message to the next generation of leaders?
Don't be afraid. Put in another way, to be brave in terms of facing all parts of you and accepting all parts of you on the journey as a leader. Because I think if you try to suppress your fears, your things that come difficult to you, you won't be able to realize your full potential. Being brave to pursue what you want to, and be brave to face fears and work on it along the journey.
Don't be afraid and take charge. I remember.
Take charge also earlier.
Thank you,
yes.
Miss Anna.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I enjoyed
We have-
this as well.
We have some flowers.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Oh, they're beautiful. Thank you.
With Anna's story, we learned that regardless of what society says, know your strengths and take charge of your life. You always have the capacity to write your own story. Again, it's Chiara Ocampo. Thank you for being with us on the Orange Share. We'll see you soon.